July 8, 1990. Rome. Diego Maradona stands in the middle of the Olympic Stadium and 70,000 people are booing him. He has just lost a World Cup final. But he isn't angry about the defeat. He's crying because he believes, deep in his bones, that this World Cup was not lost. It was taken. And here's the strange part. Millions of people around the world, even neutrals, agree with him. To understand why, we have to go back 4 years, to the day one man turned a football match into the most famous story ever told on a pitch. June 22, 1986. Mexico City. Argentina versus England, World Cup quarterfinal. And this was never just a football match. For years earlier, the two countries had gone to war over the Falkland Islands. Hundreds of young Argentine soldiers never came home. So when these two teams walked out at the Azteca Stadium, in front of 114,000 people, the air was heavy with something much bigger than sport. For 50 minutes, nothing. Then, in the space of 4 minutes, Diego Maradona produced the two most famous goals in the history of football. Two goals that could not be more different from each other. Minute 51. A miskick loops into the England box. Maradona, all 1.65 meters of him, jumps against the goalkeeper Peter Shilton, who is 20 centimeters taller. Somehow, the ball ends up in the net. The referee points to the center circle. Goal. But the replays show the truth. Maradona didn't head it. He punched it in with his left fist. The English players are screaming at the referee. And after the match, when journalists asked Maradona about it, he gave them a sentence that would follow him forever. He said the goal was scored a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. Now here's what most people forget. Just 4 minutes later, the same man scored the greatest goal ever seen. Maradona picks up the ball inside his own half. He spins away from two players. Then he starts running. He glides past Beardsley, past Reed, past Butcher, past Fenwick. 60 meters, 10 seconds, half the England team left behind him. Then he rounds Shilton and rolls the ball into the net. FIFA would later officially name it the goal of the century. One half of the world called him a cheat. The other half called him a genius. He was both, in the same afternoon, and that is exactly why the world could not look away. Maradona dragged Argentina all the way. 2 more goals against Belgium in the semi-final. And in the final against West Germany, with the score locked at 2-2, it was his pass that sent Bruchaga through to win it. Argentina were champions of the world, and one man had carried an entire nation on his back. Which brings us back to Rome, and the story Argentina has never forgiven. Italy, 1990. Maradona is 29 now. His ankle is so swollen and battered that he needs injections just to walk onto the pitch. Argentina are a shadow of the '86 team. They lose their opening match to Cameroon in one of the biggest shocks in World Cup history. And yet, somehow, they crawl forward. Their backup goalkeeper, Goicoechea, becomes a penalty shootout wall. They knock out Brazil. They knock out the hosts, Italy, in Naples of all places, the city where Maradona was a god at club level. Italy never forgave him for that. And when Argentina walked out for the final in Rome, the crowd booed their national anthem. The cameras zoomed in on Maradona's face, and everyone watching could read his lips as he insulted the entire stadium. Then came minute 85. Score still 0-0. A German attacker goes down in the box under a challenge from Sensini. The Mexican referee, Edgardo Codsal, points to the spot. Even today, watch the replay 100 times, and you will struggle to find the foul. Brahim scores the penalty. 1-0. Argentina finished the final with 9 men, the first red cards ever shown in a World Cup final, both given by the same referee. When it ended, Maradona stood there sobbing and refused to shake the hand of the FIFA president. And then, over the years, Argentines began pointing at one detail. That referee's father-in-law was sitting on FIFA's own referees committee. Coincidence? Maybe. But in Argentina, to this day, they don't call it a defeat. They call it a robbery. You would think the story ends there. It doesn't. It gets darker. USA, 1994. Maradona is 33, and against all odds, he's back. Against Greece, he curls a rocket into the top corner and sprints to the camera, eyes bulging, face screaming into the lens. It looked like the greatest comeback in football. It lasted exactly 2 games. After the next match, a nurse walked onto the pitch, took Maradona by the hand, and led him away for a random drug test. The test came back positive for a cocktail of ephedrine. He was thrown out of the World Cup in front of the entire planet. Maradona said it felt like they had cut off his legs. He never played at a World Cup again. Diego Maradona died in November 2020, and Argentina stopped breathing. 2 years later, Lionel Messi finally lifted the World Cup in Qatar, and an entire country said the same thing. This one was for Diego, because in Argentina, they won that trophy twice. Once on the pitch, and once for the man they believe football robbed. If this story gave you chills, subscribe, because every goal has a story, and we're just getting started.